Hello and welcome back to Life-Changing Wisdom. Today, we're sharing a powerful story about an invisible barrier that stops many of us from achieving our greatest dreams. It's the story of a lion, a low fence, and a young woman named Anandi, who discovered that the greatest prison is often the one we build in our own minds. Anandi grew up in a small, peaceful village nestled at the foot of towering mountains. From a young age, she was captivated by the stories of the village's great hunters. But what haunted her the most was her first visit to the zoo with her grandfather. At the zoo, among many strange animals, Anandi stopped in front of the lion enclosure. The enormous male lion, the king of the jungle, was lying quietly. What puzzled Anandi was that its cage was not made of dense iron bars as she had imagined, but rather an old, low, barbed wire fence, only reaching an adult's chest height. "Grandpa," Anandi timidly asked, "why doesn't it jump over this fence and run away? It's so strong." Her grandfather smiled and led her to the caretaker. The man looked at Anandi with kind eyes. "Little girl, when it was just a cub, we put it in this same enclosure. Back then, it tried to jump out, but this fence was just high enough to keep it in. After every attempt, it started to believe, I cannot jump over it. Now, even though it's grown hundreds of times stronger, its mind is still bound by the failures of its youth." Anandi stood in silence. The invisible rope bound the king of the beasts. Years passed. Anandi grew up and embarked on a path of entrepreneurial business, but her life seemed to be held back by a similar barbed wire fence. She had failed heavily in her first project, losing all her capital and self-confidence. Since then, Anandi was always hesitant. She constantly told herself, "I'm not good enough. Another risk will kill me," or "I wasn't meant for big things." She missed many good opportunities, settling for a stable, tedious job because she was afraid of jumping over the fence. Her life was calm on the outside, but inside was the suppressed roar of a captive lion. One rainy afternoon, Anandi sat thoughtfully in the abandoned garden behind her house. She saw a young bamboo shoot bending and wrestling with the strong wind. The fiercer the wind, the deeper the bamboo bent. Its body almost touched the ground, but whenever the wind subsided, it sprang back up with powerful resilience. Down, then up again. It never broke. Anandi suddenly understood. Failure, bending down, was not the end, but an opportunity to gather energy and spring back up stronger. The bamboo did not fear bending because it knew it would always straighten up. The lion did not jump because it stopped after the initial failure. That evening, Anandi opened her computer. She retrieved the unfinished project from the past, revised the plan, and submitted a new funding application. She wrote a sentence in her notebook. "The fence in my life only exists in my mind, but the power to bounce back is real." She failed again, but this time she didn't stop. She learned, adjusted, and tried again. Gradually, Anandi became a pioneer in her field. We're often trapped by past failures and the voice of fear inside us, turning them into invisible barbed wire fences. But the truth is, the potential strength within each of us is greater than any fear. Sometimes, all it takes is a moment of courage to believe, "This time, I will jump over." Anandi's journey reminds us that we all carry those invisible barbed wire fences. They are the past failures and the voices of fear telling us we can't try again. But just like the bamboo, we have the innate power to bend, absorb the pressure, and spring back stronger. The key is to believe in your potential more than you believe in your past limitations. What invisible fence are you ready to jump over today? Let me know in the comments below. If this message resonated with you, hit the like button and subscribe to Life-Changing Wisdom for more stories that empower you to change your life. Thank you for watching.